If you guys want to crush your sales calls, then listen to this. So, about a year ago in the UK, I was walking down a street in a city, and on this street, there were shops either side. Sometimes companies strategically place salesmen in the middle of the street that will attempt to sell to you something if they make eye contact with you, and they'll collar you, they'll have this whole sales conversation with you. They'll either be asking for a donation, they'll be trying to sell something to you. It could be like jewelry, it could be trying to sell you a holiday, it could be something to do with charity. Anyway, I'm usually pretty good at avoiding these conversations and actually walking around them, but on this scenario, the street was quite narrow, so it was difficult to like completely avoid them. And I happened to make eye contact with this guy as I'm walking past him, and he comes up to me and he starts trying to sell me a holiday. And he was basically telling me that his company, the company he works for, is way cheaper than any of the competitors, and how it's such a good time to book a holiday right now just because there's so many more deals on. And he's going on and on and on. And I'm doing everything here to try and get out of the conversation just because I'm not in the mood for this, right? And I'm doing that whole thing, where you're facing your body language away, you're trying to take a step to the side. And I'm even making up excuses saying, look, I'm just on my lunch at the moment. I need to get back to work as quickly as possible. Eventually, the guy takes the hint and I manage to get out of the conversation. And as I'm walking down the street a bit more, I see another guy up in front ahead of me. And I'm like, I'm going to have to try and avoid this guy as well, right? And as I'm taking a detour around this guy, he doesn't say a word to me, but he holds out a photo. And I happen to glance at it. On this photo is this adorable little Labrador puppy. Big eyes, very, very cute, very, very fluffy. And it piqued my curiosity. So I looked at him and he made eye contact with me. And he asked me, I can remember him just looking straight into my eyes. He was like, why do you think people abuse dogs like this? And I'm taken aback a little bit. I'm like, what on earth is this question, right? And I say to him, well, I think there's just some bad people in this world. And he maintains eye contact and he's like, you're exactly right, which is why we're doing everything possible to try and support these defenseless animals that we've rescued. He was like, these animals have been neglected, either abused or just completely abandoned, and we step in and rescue them and then look after them. But the problem is people don't even adopt them, and we can only look after them so long because there's so many dogs out there that need our help, right? And he says what happens is they end up getting put down after a while because we just can't look after them any longer. It's incredibly sad. And he said to me, imagine that you've had such an awful start to your life that your owner, who you trusted, ends up neglecting you or abusing you. And then when you finally get rescued, you're super, super excited and grateful, but it's only rescued onto death row, where you're likely going to have to be put down. And imagine just what sort of quality of life that is. And I was like, yeah, that's absolutely terrible. I didn't know like the situation, particularly with dogs and things, was like that bad. And that's when he went for the ask. And he said to me, all we're asking for is just a donation of I think it's like £2.50 a month, just to help and support these animals so we can feed them, so we can, look after them and continue to support them after they've had such a terrible life. Guess which salesman that day ended up walking away with my money? It was like £2.50, right? I thought to myself when he went for the close, I thought, he's got me. It wasn't the first salesman who was trying to sell me all the deals and tell me about the price and the holidays, even though some of the destinations looked pretty good on his little flip out cards that he had. It was the guy who told me the highly emotional story about animals. Now, anybody who knows me knows that I'm quite a logical guy, and I'm good at being logical. I still bought on emotion and gave that guy money based on emotion that day, because people buy on emotion, not logic. And if you can take that lesson there and start putting it into your sales calls, understanding that people don't buy on logic, they don't want to know your price. They don't want to know, the specific little features and like exactly why you're better than this competitor down the road. They want the transformation. They want to pay for the value, to pay for the gap, right? to pay for where they are currently to go to where they want to go. It's the transformation they want, and they want it in a story which can convey the emotions and the value to them, right? If you can elicit someone's emotions like that, you are going to crush sales. And I don't mean in like a manipulative way or anything like that. We don't do anything like that around here. But what I'm trying to say is, I don't know a single salesperson who's really, really good at selling that doesn't understand this lesson on emotions, on storytelling. And if you can implement that, you can absolutely crush it as well. Just a quick video from me today, but hopefully it was a valuable video for you. And remember, make sure you look after your dogs.